As the years went by, I started getting really sore. Inflammation it was. I would go get my teeth cleaned and they go, oh, you have so much inflammation in your mouth. I'd go to the eye doctor, oh, because I would press on my eyelids and they would just be sore. They're like, oh, that's inflammation. And I started to get funny things in my feet, achy feet. If I sat down to watch a show at night, I dreaded getting up because I'd be like 8 years old, my husband would be like, oh, here we go again. It's gonna take 2 hours to get out the car. I'd be like, ow, 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 you know, because the bottom of my feet hurt so bad because I was done for the night if I sat down. My knees hurt, my elbows hurt. I was just, in the meantime, I just kept getting worse and worse. I just kept getting to the point where I was so heavy, I was gaining weight, I was so tired, I was lethargic. My mom had a goiter. She's actually cut from here to here. They took her goiter out. Every time I would go to the doctor, I would tell the doctor, can you check my thyroid? One doctor came in and he goes, oh, your numbers are perfect. Like, we wish everybody's numbers were like this. I wanted to cry. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm normal. Just tell me that, you know, something, I wanted a diagnosis. So then it just kept getting out of control. My wrists hurt, my knees hurt. I started to get indentations right here and back here. I had muscle atrophy to where now my body was not even absorbing calcium at all, nothing. And it was, my muscles were deteriorating. And I was in a lot of pain, just every day. Didn't even want to get out of bed, just a mess. And I kept complaining to my husband, and he's like, go to the doctor. So in 1 year, I had went to 7 doctors. And I've been told I have fibromyalgia, osteoarthritis, osteopenia, rheumatoid arthritis, you name it, they have given me. So along with all the other prescriptions I had from 7 other doctors, I told Dr. Coker, I showed you the picture of it. I had a medicine cabinet. Every time I went to the doctor, I would throw the medication up in the cabinet, throw it up in the cabinet. Well, the smokers, when I went to the neurologist, I had this medication. It was a muscle relaxer and a painkiller. And I told my daughter, this will make like number 28, you know, the medicine cabinet, which every time they gave me a prescription, I never took it. But I was taking 16 Advil in 1 day, every day. This was my routine. When I woke up, I would take 4 Advil. At lunchtime, I would take 4 Advil. In the evening time after dinner, I would take 4 Advil. And before I went to bed, I would take 4 Advil. Because that's for a year. And so that was the only way I could get through the day because I had so much inflammation and I was just so sore everywhere that that's how I got through my day. So when we left the doctor's office, I got in the car with my daughter and I just, you know, I try to be strong for my daughter because I'm her mom, I'm supposed to be, but I just bawled. Like I just sat in the parking lot and I just cried because I was done. Like he didn't even look at me. And so he hands me a prescription of yet another medication. And I am not bashing medical doctors. I had never been to a chiropractor, ever, not once. I wasn't raised on a chiropractor. I couldn't even tell you what a chiropractor did. And, you know, I really never went to the doctor that much until I started having issues with my feet. I broke my feet 5 times before they sent me for bone density. After like the 3rd one, they probably should have sent me. But my body was so depleted by the time I got my bone density that I had to start taking mega doses of vitamin D and calcium just to kind of catch up. So when I went, you know, in the car with my daughter, she goes, "You're going to Dr. Coker," because she had been a Dr. Coker because she's a cheerleader and she was go get her back stretched. But I would not. I would go with her. I would not even like talk to him, look at him, be like, "Oh, Fixer, do what you gotta do, I'm out here." You know, I would like run out the door because I was like, nobody's touching me. At the time, I didn't need a chiropractor. I was fine. I didn't need any of that. And then I said to her, "Okay, let's go." Now, so it happened to be a Saturday, and I drove straight from the neurosurgeon right into his office, and I was just bawling, crying, telling him, "Please, you know, will you please see me because I am done. Like, if you don't see me, I don't know where I'm gonna go, what I'm gonna do." So he took me in this room and he did the questions, you know, on, you know, diagnosis, like what, you know, your symptoms. And I don't even think I made it through the thing without crying because I was just crying because I knew I was in the right place. You know what I mean? Like I was crying because I was just done, but I knew that I was where I belong. And he's like, looking through your thing, I think I know the problem. you know, you have to get tested, and you have to, it's baby steps, you know, it will be baby steps. And I'm like, okay, I'm willing to do that because I've been going to 7 doctors in a year, and I'm right back to square one, where every time I went to the doctor, they told me what they thought I had. I had a doctor actually one time look at me, look at my feet, and tell me, oh, you have rheumatoid arthritis. And I'm like, okay, gosh, the diagnosis, yay, you know? So they x-rayed me, and he said, oh, you know, we're just gonna run the blood work to have the confirmation, come back, fine, no RA. Oh, I'm happy, I think, you know? But how could you look at my x-ray and tell me I have rheumatoid arthritis, you know, and then come back with the blood work and tell me I'm fine? Everybody said I had beautiful blood work, like they would want every patient to have that. I'm like, well then why do I feel like crap? You tell me why I feel like I do, and please give me a diagnosis. So when I went to him, he ran the blood work and did all that, and he was talking about here. Best decision I could have ever made. Best decision. I'll tell you what, I don't think nothing to buying clothes for myself. I don't think nothing to buying nail polish. I go get my hair done. I spend money on whatever, you know, I go out to eat. But the best thing I could have did for myself was go get a blood test, because that told the whole thing. I mean, I could not believe it when he told me I was allergic to gluten, and I had Hashimoto's. I'm like, I went to the thyroid doctor. They told me I was fine. I was perfect, you know? And then when he told me I was allergic to gluten, I didn't even know what gluten was. So when he told me that I was allergic to that, I was like, okay, so what do? So he gives me this paperwork and tells me I need to eliminate the gluten. And I had leaky gut. I had all of that. I had all of that. And so I started to look at what I was eating as poison. And it was so funny because he said, I want you for a whole day, 24 hours, to eliminate gluten, and I want you back in my office. So I'm like, okay, so you know, next day comes along, I eat completely different in the morning. By the time it was 24 hours, I was already calling him, oh my gosh, I feel so great! You know, like not even been 24 hours, and I'm like, no pain, no, instantly gone. How could that be? Like, would it work that fast? And he goes, yeah, that's like what you're allergic to. So in other words, I was putting poison in my body every day because I was trying to lose weight, and I was eating wheat bread, you know, with everything was wheat. I was doing Weight Watchers, you know, and actually poisoning myself. When I took that all out, not even a whole 24 hours, my knees didn't hurt anymore, my elbows didn't hurt anymore, my wrists didn't hurt anymore, bottom of my feet didn't hurt. Slowly, everything started to feel better. And he even said, you know, you're going to lose a ton of weight. Oh, he wasn't even kidding. I lost 65 pounds. Like that. I mean, I would get on the scale, 5 pounds gone, 4 pounds gone, 2, 5, 7. I'm like, oh my gosh, my husband's like, oh, you need to stop soon. You know, you're gonna like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel wonderful. And it was only because I took the gluten away and I stopped taking the Advil. I didn't need it anymore because the 16 Advil I no longer needed. And I looked at medicine